periodic table notes, page 54. So we're going to take a look at element classification. And if you look at this periodic table on this page and the periodic table in your reference table, there is a characteristic I want you to focus on. So it is a bolded stair step that I'm going to go over in this yellow. And that stair step represents a very important division point for us. In general terms, when we're talking about element classification, an element's position will determine how we classify it, whether it's to the left of that bolded stair step or to the right of it. So our two main categories for elements are metals and non-metals. So metals, you will see that I will abbreviate as M many times in this particular unit, and non-metals as in NM. So as a general rule, metals tend to be left of that stair step, so anything listed to the left, okay? And that also includes these two pulled out rows, plus the two rows at the bottom. Okay, so where that little wedge is located is actually where those two rows would be inserted if they were kept inside the table. General properties of metals, things that you probably already know. Metals tend to be very good conductors of heat and electricity. Okay. Other terms quickly or usually associated with metals. Metals tend to be malleable, meaning that they can be pounded into sheets shaped with a hammer. The sister property to being malleable is metals tend to be ductile, pull into a wire, and metals tend to have luster. So I'm going to write the word luster, and we could replace that with the word shiny, okay? Metals, all metals tend to exist in the solid phase, except for one, and that's the one that we use in thermometers, except for mercury. Now, non-metals, okay, they tend to be located to the right of that bolded stair step. Plus two more, okay? Hydrogen and helium, even though their boxes are disconnected from the main body of the periodic table, they both are non-metals. So, you might want to make a little note next to each of their boxes that they are also non-metals. Now, non-metals tend to have opposite properties of metals. So where metals are good conductors of heat and electricity, non-metals act more as insulators, or maybe we could say non-conductors. Okay? Where metals tend to exist as solids in their natural state, non-metals actually, depending on which one, exist in all three phases. That means some non-metals are solids, one is a liquid, and quite a few exist as gases. Now, non-metals that exist as solids, they are dull, meaning that they don't shine, they don't have luster, okay? And they tend to be brittle. So if you try to pull it into a wire or shape it with a hammer, it's going to crumble. Now, if we're going to get very specific, instead of just using the general two major classifications, metals versus non-metals, we do have a few elements that are referred to as metalloids, which are also known as, AKA, as semi-metals. So some people still use terminology semi-metals. They're also known as the metalloids, and you will see that I will use SM for the abbreviation. These elements, since they're semi-metals, okay, they make up the stair step. Okay, all metalloids or semi-metals are in the solid phase. Okay, they are referred to as semi-metals because they tend to exhibit properties of both metals and non-metals. One great example is like metalloids or semi-metals tend to be shiny, like metals, but if you hit them with a hammer, they tend to be brittle, like a non-metal. They will crumble. Semi-metals have a very unique and important property. So this last one, I'm going to put a box around it, okay? Because modern technology relies on this special property. It is what makes computer chips possible. Semi-metals are semi-conductors of electricity. They don't, too much electricity kills the computer, not enough electricity, there is no computer to run. Okay, so semi-metals, I would make like a little note. So semi-metals, I'm gonna put a little asterisk so you know which ones they are. So boron, silicon, arsenic, and tellurium are the 4 top elements on the stair step that are part of the semi-metal or metalloid family, plus germanium, Ge, and antimony, Sb. So make a little key and record that for yourself.